Today we'll discuss the topic Gymnosperm. We have already discussed algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, and today we are going to discuss the Gymnosperm, which comes under phanerogams. So what are Gymnosperms? Gymnosperms are the naked seeded plants. Okay, and here the meaning, let me tell you. Gymnos means naked and sperma means seed. So that's why they are the naked seeded plants. So what is the meaning of naked seeded? Means ovules are not enclosed by ovary. Okay, so ovule develops into seed and ovary develops into fruit. That means the seed is not enclosed by fruit. Okay, so this is the meaning of a naked seeded plant. Okay, now come to the general characteristics. Okay, so they are mostly trees or shrubs. Okay, and the seed remains exposed. I have already told you. Now the examples are cycas, pinus, cedrus, ginkgo, sequoia. Yeah. Okay, and sequoia is the tallest tree. Okay, now its root normal tap root. Okay, so you know the roots are of two types, adventitious root and tap root. So the normal root that develops from the radicle is known as tap root. But the pinus, besides this, they are having some special roots. So what are those special roots? In case of pinus, mycorrhiza. What is mycorrhiza? Association of root with fungi. Okay, so that is called mycorrhiza. But in case of cycas, the root is coralloid root. Okay, that means here the root is associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria or blue-green algae. Now come to the stem. Stem unbranched like coconut tree. So unbranched in case of cycas, for example, and it can be branched like in case of pinus and cedrus. Okay, so two types of leaves are seen. In some cases it is branches are seen or stems are seen, which may be branched or unbranched. Now come to the leaves. The leaves in case of cycas, which is very common in cycas, it is pinnately compound. That means, suppose this is the leaf, you will see that these are the leaflets arising. Two leaflets are arising from a single point. The whole structure, is a leaf. Okay, so this is a compound leaf. Now, and these leaves are long lasting. Okay, they remain alive years together. Now come to the conifers. In case of conifers, this is in case of cycas. Now in case of conifers, conifers means those who are having coniferous plant, coniferous trees which are found in the mountain ranges or in the cold deserts. So for example, pinus. In pinus, the leaves are needle like with, with one thick cuticle surrounding the leaf. There is a thick layer known as cuticle which prevents the excess transpiration, and besides that they have sunken stomata. Means the stomata are not directly exposed to the surrounding, rather they are present in a cavity. Okay, and that is known as sunken stomata. So what is the advantage of these two? Why they are such modification is that, because the first one is that it reduces transpiration and helps in surviving cold and dry climate. Okay, so because they are growing in the extreme climate, extreme hot or extreme cold climate, so accordingly their leaves are modified. Now come to the most important part, that is reproduction. Okay, now the gymnosperms are heterosporous. Very, very important. Heterosporous, that means they produce two types of spores, that is microspore and megaspore. Okay, and how where they are produced? Actually they have two types of cone. Okay, so they have male cone and female cone. Let me first describe the male cone. So the male cone is called microsporangiate. Remember the name. Always male means micro. Okay, microsporangiate strobilus. The cone is known as strobilus. Okay, and it contains the leaves, the leaf like structures, that is known as microsporophyll. Okay, it contains microsporophyll, and this microsporophyll contains microsporangia. Okay, so suppose say this is the this is a male cone. Okay, this is male cone, and in the male cone the leaves are there, the leaf like structures are there which are brown in color, and these are known as microsporophyll. These are known as microsporophyll, and these microsporophyll contains the sporangia, and the spores are produced inside the sporangia. Okay, and because it bears the microsporangia, so this type of strobili or strobilus is called microsporangiate strobilus. Okay, clear? Now come to the female cone. Let us discuss the yes, this produces microsporangia. This produces the microspore or pollen grain. Okay, I think it is clear to you. Now come to the female cone. So female cone may develop in separate plant or in the same plant in case of pinus in different branch, but generally it is developed in the different plant. Okay, so it is commonly called megasporangiate strobilus. Okay, and they contain the megasporophyll, and megasporophyll contains ovule, and ovule bears the egg. Okay, now this ovule, let us discuss the structure of ovule. So this is very important. The ovule has the structure consists of integument, outer covering, that is integument. Then there is a mass of cell. Here mass of cell is present, that is called nucellus. Okay, and then it has a megaspore mother cell. एक मेगास्पोर मदर सेल होता है इसमें, and this is the micropyle. This is megaspore mother cell. Very simple structure I have given just to remember the structures, I mean the parts of the ovule. Now this megaspore mother cell, the megaspore mother cell develops into the egg. How it develops into egg? Let me tell you. Development of very important children, development of megaspore mother cell into egg. So how it takes place? First of all, the megaspore mother cell जो कि सेंटर में था, it undergoes meiosis. इसमें क्या होता है? मियोसिस. अभी मियोसिस होने के बाद इसमें क्या बनता है? 4 मेगास्पोर. मियोसिस में हमेशा हैप्लॉइड 4 हैप्लॉइड डॉटर सेल बनते हैं, एंड दीज आर 4 मेगास्पोर्स. ओके, तो ये 4 मेगास्पोर में से 3 मेगास्पोर डीजेनरेट्स. 3 मेगास्पोर डीजेनरेट्स. ठीक है, ये डीजेनरेट होता है. तो एक फंक्शनल मेगास्पोर रहता है, 1 फंक्शनल megaspore. So now this, out of 4 megaspore, 3 becomes non-functional and only 1 is the functional. And this functional megaspore gives rise to female gametophyte. And in the female gametophyte, the female gametophyte is known as archegonia. We have already studied what is archegonia in pteridophytes and bryophytes. So it gives rise to archegonia, and the archegonia contains the egg. So this is how the development of megaspore mother cell. So what is megaspore mother cell? This is the ovule. In the ovule, the nucellus, some that is nutrient supplying cells are present, known as nucellus, and at the center there is a cell that is called megaspore mother cell. This megaspore mother cell gives rise to archegonia, which contains the egg. Okay, now come to now I am discussing each and every topic separately. Then I will show you the life cycle. Now your egg is ready. Now pollen grain is also ready here. Okay, here pollen grain is formed. Okay, So now what happens? Pollination. The next step is pollination. Okay. So pollen grains are released into air. Okay, and reach the ovule. Okay, now this pollen grain germinates. Pollen grain germinates and it forms the pollen tube. I will show you the diagram. Pollen tube and carries the male gamete. Okay, then the next step is fertilization. I'll show you everything with the help of diagrams, so don't worry. So now what happens? The male gamete is contained in the pollen tube. Now the male gamete plus the egg. Now they are fused to form the zygote. And the zygote develops into embryo. Okay, and this embryo develops into seed. Okay, embryo is contained in the seed, means ovule is developed into seed inside which the embryo is present. Now let me show you the life cycle. Okay, now okay, so the life cycle, as you know, the main plant body is sporophyte. Okay, now sporophyte, the sporophyte has male cone and female cone. Okay, the male cone produces the microspore and female cone produces the megaspore. Okay, the megaspore develops into female gametophyte or archegonia. Okay, and the archegonia contains the, so it is the archegonia. Then microspore develops into pollen grain. Now pollen grain by pollination, so pollination, it reaches up to the female gametophyte. It reaches the female gametophyte. Now pollen grain germinates in the archegonia, produces pollen tube with male gamete. With male gamete. Okay, and this male gamete plus female gamete means egg. Okay, now they are fused to form, so this is fertilization to form the zygote. Okay, now the zygote develops into embryo. Okay, and this embryo again develops into your sporophyte, the main plant body. Now let me tell you what are the detailed structures. So male cone As I have shown you, the cone is like this. It is having many leaves. Okay. Each leaf is known as microsporophyll, and the microsporophyll contains the, it produces the, it contains the microsporangium, and the microsporangium, so these are microsporophyll. Okay. Microsporophyll contains the microsporangia. Microsporangia contains the microspore. Microspore develops into pollen grain. Okay, it is clear. Now come to the female cone. This is called megasporangiate strobilus. Already I have told you. So this is how is its structure. Its structure is somehow like this. Just a minute. So its structure is in the cone, the structure of leaves are somehow like this. Okay, and they form a cone. So like this, they are present in a cone, and the ovules are present here. Here the ovules are attached. So these are the ovules. So these leaves are called megasporophyll, which contains the ovule, and in the ovule, what is there? The integument is there. Okay, integument. This is integument. Then here a mass of cell is present, that is nucellus, and a big cell is present towards the micropyle. This is the opening, micropyle. Okay, so this is megaspore mother cell. Okay, now this megaspore, so your megaspore mother cell develops into the female gametophyte, which is called archegonia, and contains the egg. Okay, इसमें egg होता है. अभी चलो आपका pollination हो गया. Now after pollination, what happens? This is the ovule. Let me draw the diagram of the ovule. Okay, and here is your archegonia. This is the archegonia. Okay, the archegonium is bearing the, it is bearing the egg. This is egg. Okay, now when the pollen grain, suppose this is the pollen grain, the pollen grain comes here and it falls on the ovule. When it comes in contact with the mouth of the archegonium, it produces a pollen tube. It produces pollen tube which carries the male gamete. Now the male gamete and the female gamete come in contact with each other. So the male gamete and the female gamete, now they are fused together to form the, zygote. Okay, this is how the life cycle takes place. So here which structure is known as gametophyte? Sporophyte, it is clear. Main plant body is sporophyte, and the strobilus are the sporophytes because they produce the spore, microspore and a megaspore. Then which structures are known as gametophyte? Remember children, this is very important. The male gametophyte is pollen grain. Okay, and female gametophyte is called embryo sac. Remember, embryo sac. Okay, so in its life cycle, it also shows alternation of generation. because the sporophyte gives rise to gametophyte, and again gametophyte gives rise to sporophyte. So this is all about the life cycle of a gymnosperm. Okay, now come to the next topic, that is angiosperm. Okay, so the angiosperms are flowering plants and seeds enclosed in fruit. Okay, and let us discuss their characteristics. What are the general characteristics? It includes, they are the largest plant group. Remember, largest plant group, सबसे ज़्यादा plant इस group में होते हैं. And flower present, already told, fruit present, and seed enclosed inside the ovary. Now come to the habitat. They can survive in desert, forest, grassland. So they occupy all these habitat, that is aquatic habitat. So everywhere you can find this type of plants, and their size ranges from, the smallest plant is Ulpia. Remember, Ulpia, very very important. Okay, and tallest plant is Eucalyptus, which is about, it is more than 100-meter height. Its height is more than 100 meter. And you know their economic importance. They provide food, fruits, vegetables, medicines, timber, fuel, fiber, fodder. आप जो भी लिख सकते हो. Okay, now come to the reproduction. Okay, ये मैं इसका पूरा सीधा लाइफ साइकिल डायरेक्ट दे देती हूँ आपको. Okay, the flower is there. Suppose say this is a flower. Okay, and these are the petals. Okay, and this is sepal. Now you know the different parts of the flower, so I'm not describing much. So you can see these are the stamens. Sorry, stamens. This is the carpel or pistil. Okay, now this stamen is having, the stamen has anther. Okay, and the carpel has ovary. It has stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, so now let us discuss one by one. Anther, and this is the filament. Okay, now the anther contains the microsporangium. The microsporangium produces the microspore. The microspore develops into pollen grain. So again we have come to the pollen grain. Pollen grain contains the male gamete. Clear? So ये हो गया आपका मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव स्ट्रक्चर एंड फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द मेल गैमेट. ये क्लास 12 में हम पूरा डिटेल्स में पढ़ेंगे, अभी आपका इतना डिटेल्स में नहीं है. नाउ कम टू द फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव स्ट्रक्चर. जस्ट अ मिनट, गड़बड़ हो गया. ओके, नाउ कम टू द फीमेल reproductive structure. So as I said you, they have stigma, style, and ovary. Now inside the ovary, the ovule is present. The ovule is mostly it is inverted ovule. The ovule is present like this. Okay, so this is integument. Then here at the center, the nucellus is present just like gymnosperm, and here the megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. Okay, now this megaspore mother cell gives rise to, it divides, it undergoes meiosis and produces 4 megaspores, out of which 3 degenerates and only 1 functional megaspore. And this functional megaspore forms the female gametophyte. And the female gametophyte bears the egg. But here the structure of female gametophyte we will discuss in more details. So the female gametophyte, the structure is like this. It is present inside the ovule. Okay, so I am showing you only female gametophyte, which is also known as embryo sac. So this is towards the micropylar end, means this part towards this. Okay, so here 1 egg is present and 2 other cells are present known as synergy. Okay, so 1 egg cell and 2 synergid. Okay, then at the center there are 2 polar nuclei. Nuclei is plural. Okay, then at this end 3 cells are present which are known as antipodal cell. Now here the most interesting thing is that by pollination, by different agent, the pollen grain comes and falls on the stigma. So let me show you. This is the stigma. Okay, and here is the ovule which contains the polar nuclei, and here is the egg, and other cells are also there. Okay, and here also 3 cells are there. Now when the pollen grain, suppose this is the pollen grain and the pollen grain falls on it, the pollen grain contains the male gamete. So now this pollen grain germinates to form the pollen tube. Now this pollen tube reaches up to the ovule. This is actually present inside the ovule. Okay, it reaches up to the ovule. So actually in the pollen grain 2 male gametes are present in angiosperm. So both the male gametes reach up to the embryo sac. And here what happens, these 2 eggs are released, 2 male gametes are released. One fuses with the egg, this is egg, and another 2 nuclei are your polar nuclei. So one of the male gamete fuses with the 2 polar nuclei. So here the fusion takes place twice, and such type of fusion that takes place twice is known as double fertilization. So let me tell you what is double fertilization. Very very important, children. Double fertilization. What is double fertilization? अभी देखो आपका पोलन ग्रेन में कितना मेल गैमेट था? 2 मेल गैमेट. 1 मेल गैमेट 2. ओके, अभी ये मेल गैमेट 1 किसके साथ फ्यूज होगा? एग के साथ. ये प्रोसेस को हम क्या बोलेंगे? सिनगैमी. जो फ्यूजन होता है एग के साथ मेल गैमेट, उसको हम सिनगैमी बोलते हैं. एंड इससे क्या प्रोड्यूस होता है? जाइगोट. ओके, दूसरा जो मेल गैमेट है इट फ्यूजेस विद द टू पोलर न्यूक्लियस, ठीक है, और इसको हम क्या बोल रहे हैं, दो पोलर न्यूक्लियस प्लस एक मेल गैमेट, तो ये कितने हो गए, 3, सो इसको हम बोलेंगे ट्रिपल फ्यूजन, 3 न्यूक्लियाई फ्यूज हो रहे हैं। तो ये फ्यूज होने से आपका क्या बनेगा, PEN, प्राइमरी एंडोस्पर्म न्यूक्लियस। ओके, एंड ये दोनों प्रोसेस को एक साथ कहा जाता है डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन। सो कैन यू टेल मी द प्लॉइडी, देखो मेल गैमेट N होता है, N, एग इज ऑल्सो N एंड 2 पोलर न्यूक्लियस मतलब N प्लस N, तो यहाँ ये कितना हो गया आपका, PEN इज 3N ट्रिप्लॉइड और जाइगोट हो गया 2N, ठीक है। सो विद दिस योर एंजियोस्पर्म, द लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ एंजियोस्पर्म इज ओवर and this chapter is also over. So now in next class I'll give you the important question from this chapter and I will discuss. Okay, so please go through it and in exam give all the life cycles in a schematic way, not in essay type answer, so nobody will deduct your mark. Once again I'm telling you, so please go through it carefully and all the videos and note down the notes and get ready for the question answer. Thank you. Bye bye.